I don't know. He just went. I think he's in a pretty good. I think he's doing pretty good. Really? Yeah. Because I think Gans was out here. I think Gans was just with him either this last weekend or the weekend before. Who's that?
Dell and Mark.
On the phone. Both of them.
It sounds like chipmunks. What's in two chipmunks' names? What's their name? Chip and Dale. Oh, God. Chip and Dale on the phone.
He didn't answer when I called.
His phone's off. His phone's off.
Yeah,
I just tried to call him too.
He said he tried to call you.
He tried to call me, but I was
tried to
in
call
a meeting.
Yeah.
He tried to call you and tried to call Tony. You know what I told him, didn't you? I said, you know, buddy, if you need something done, you know who to call. He said,
You?
me.
Oh gosh.
Shut up. Shut up, Chip. Oh, my.
Well, I hope it's not too serious.
Mics are live.
Put that beer down, Mark.
Is it?
Is it?
5 o'clock.
Are we on? Okay. Okay, I'd like to call to order work session for, let me see, March the 17th, 2025. Katie, can I get a roll call, please?
Board member Brett.
Yes, ma'am.
Board member is absent. City Attorney Bill Weldon is on the phone. Clerk Treasurer Mark Betty is on the phone. President Kelly Malone.
Here?
And myself.
Okay. All right, today I think,
This would be for the USB board, isn't it?
This is it.
Yeah, we're all supposed to be on this.
Probably.
Your Honor?
Board of Works.
yeah, this is.
Oh.
Board of
yeah,
Works.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay,
missed
let
This
me
is
start over.
the whole meeting. That's all.
Yep.
Okay. Board member Lenny Fryman.
Here.
Board member Tony Abbott.
Here.
Board member Dylan Little.
Present.
Board member Brett Von Durant.
Yes, ma'am.
Board member Thomas Rella is absent. City Attorney Dale Weldon is on the phone. President Kelly Malone.
Here.
Clerk Treasurer Mark Fetty is on the phone, and myself.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, this is to talk about projects, is that right? Or-
It's to discuss the USB and invoices that have either already been paid or that are outstanding for the project on Short Street. And then there were some other things that I wanted to discuss. So if you want, I can bring them up one at a
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
So the first thing that I want to talk about is we have 2 different invoices, one for boring that has already been paid, and then the other one is, to me, it looks like an order form. In the last meeting, it was said that it was a quote, but I believe that some of the work has already been done after looking into it a little bit more. And so we're here today to talk about who is going to pay for these and how they're going to be paid. Because as of right now, well, one of them's been paid by the city or by LMU. And Mark, you can intervene and tell me which one that is, but one of them have been paid by LMU, and the other one is still outstanding. And so the conversation is who's going to pay for it and those types of things.
Okay. Let's talk about the boring one first. Mark, has that been paid by LMU or by the city?
That was approved at an LMU meeting or a utility board meeting, and that's the one that Tommy brought up that had the the change order on it for $2,500, and
Right.
it was paid by the utilities, and the total was $44,250.
Okay. And that was for getting rid of the pole in the back of Tom Schneider's house, if I'm not mistaken. And also to bore, it's being bored underneath Tom's driveway, if I'm not mistaken, you guys?
Yeah, there was boring to Tom Schneider, to Tom's house. Then there was boring to the potential new restaurant. And we were also led to believe that there would be boring going to the pavilion. And then we found out that there was no boring that went to the pavilion, and it was only to the restaurant and Tom's house.
Yeah, there's no borings going to the pavilion.
Yeah, well, that's what we found out.
But I don't think that was ever discussed.
I know that
I don't think.
when I was talking to some of the other folks, I believe Tony,
The day that we voted on it, I believe we did, there was discussion over it, and I took it, and I thought it was mentioned, it was for that whole corner there, for the
No.
pavilion also.
It was for actually for the pole that sat right behind Tom Schneider's driveway and right behind the new potential restaurant. There was a pole that was put up there. I should have had Eric Webster come. But that's the pole that was to be taken down, and anything on that, and it was actually, there was a transformer that was fed from that pole. And that transformer was, for that corner, was part of that whole boring, that's the way I understood.
What about the pole that was at the intersection? Wasn't there a pole there on this?
At the end of the corner there,
At the intersection of the alley?
there's a pole there, but that's not for that boring, I don't believe.
Okay.
I think it was for the one right behind Tom's house.
here's my issue, and this is what I want to focus on. Our utilities are ratepayer based, as we all know. We just
Yep.
did a rate increase. We're looking at this $44,250. When we do another rate study, if someone else doesn't pay for that besides LMU, the ratepayers are going to eat that cost. And the same thing with the other free equipment that we're talking about as well. So you're looking at close to $85,000 that ratepayers are going to have to eat
Right.
if someone doesn't pay for this.
Right. Hey, Mark, did utilities pay for that boring, or did it come out of city?
No, that was paid for by the utilities.
Where would that be?
There was
Okay.
kind of a question, I did have kind of a question whether, it should be redevelopment paying for it, or it should be LMU paying for it, and I wasn't too sure till, Dylan kind of brought it up the last time, and then I kind of talked to Crystal the next day, and because I wasn't 100% sure, and when Dylan brought that up about the one, I wouldn't ask about the other one, and Crystal kind of told me, she goes, most of the time, and this is since Billy's been there, she goes, most of the time since Billy's been there, if it has to do with a project or has to do with somebody having utilities for them, they usually pay for it.
They meaning the project person or the utilities?
They meaning whoever's doing the project.
Okay.
Or whoever's doing the construction for that person that's doing the project. The utilities is usually not paid for that. That's what she told me.
No, and I agree with that. Utilities shouldn't be paying for anything with the project. If anybody would pay it, it would be the city.
I would say it would have to go back to redevelopment.
It would be redevelopment should have to pay for it.
Okay. Okay.
That or the project owner. Because let me ask, any other time, if it's a residential person that's getting this pole taken down or boring, it would be the residential person that pays the bill, right, Mark?
No, that's not true.
That's
No, that's not true, Mark.
what Crystal told me.
That's not true, because if it's something that the utilities is wanting to get done, then it's on the utilities. That pole coming down wasn't solely because of that project. Now, it could have been part of it.
I think that's kind of like what you said. If Eric was there, he could probably tell you a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the mayor, you probably know better than I do whether it was for the project or whether it's for to make the utilities better in that area.
Well-
I'm not 100% sure on that.
Well, obviously, it makes the, behind the project, I mean, it did help the project. I can't say that it didn't. But what it did was cleaned up the back end of that area, that there was a pole right in between the property line of the restaurant and Tom's driveway. And that was the reason that it was taken down, because it fed a transformer, is what I recall.
Who gave the direction to do the project then? Was it
Which project? We voted on it.
for one, not the other?
The other one isn't done. That is not done. That transformer is not, that one.
Well, there's more than the transformer. There's other things on here, and from my understanding, some parts of this has already been done.
I can't answer that. I don't know that that's true or not. I don't know. You
What
might be
else?
right, Dylan. You may be right.
What else is on there?
They have a three-phase primary URD, 150, so the transformer, three-phase metering, load break elbow, termination kit, load break cutout, arrestor, load break arrestor, U-guard, concrete junction box, so forth and so on, and then miscellaneous material. And then this didn't include the boring.
How much is the transformer on that?
The transformer is roughly $17,000.
Okay. And what it was, and I think I brought it up to you guys, was that, since Mr. Schroeder had not asked us for anything for his investment, I was suggesting that we have him pay for the transformer, because Eric said that any transformer that's been purchased for a project, the owner of the project has bought it as of today, okay? So my suggestion was for the owner, which is Tony Schroeder, to buy the transformer, and that the city would take care of the rest out of the project, with project money, or on that, for that project. You don't recall that?
Not necessarily. Does anyone else?
I remember a conversation, I don't know if that was here though, in a meeting.
We never voted on it as a thing, and that's one of the big things.
Well, but it hadn't been paid for, and it hadn't been done. We can't vote on it until it's brought to us. And that transformer has not been installed. I don't believe it's even been ordered, unless we've got it in stock.
I was going to say, I think it's in stock.
Well, if it's in stock, we can't do anything with it until, I agree with you, it can't be installed until it's voted on or paid for.
Well, and that's
He'd have to pay for it.
well, and that's what my problem is I believe some of this other stuff has already been done, but it's never been voted on. We've not had that conversation in a meeting, and we haven't voted on it.
Well, you might be right there, but I can't answer you if it's done or not. I don't know why it would be done if the transformer wasn't installed. I don't know. I don't know that.
So we need to find out what's been done.
We can certainly find out.
Yeah.
I
Webster.
think you're right, because there was something mentioned when he was talking about that project over there, that there was some stuff that had to be done, and
But,
was gonna be
but-
done.
but Dylan's right, though, that $42,000 quote has not been done, and it's not been voted on, any part of it.
Yeah, I was checking in on that. I asked Hunter, I asked several people if any of that stuff, like when they did the conduit, if any wire was put in, or if there's any transformer. And what I could find out, and like I said, I'm not 100% sure, but what I could find out is the same thing you said, Mayor. None of that stuff's been put in, done yet. So that $42,000 quote, none of that stuff's on that project yet.
That's what I understood, but either way, I mean, before they can do that, and actually I would have like a Webster come and present it to us, but that's all I can tell you on that one, Dylan. I don't think anybody, I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. Utilities cannot pay for this stuff. I 100% agree with that.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
Yeah, Liddy's on redevelopment. My thought is that's a redevelopment project. I know redevelopment does many different things for, different people when they start these projects. Has that ever been discussed, or would redevelopment consider paying part of that? I just feel like since it's on the redevelopment land, it's a redevelopment project, I think we'd be better off letting it go that direction than the civil city. But like I said, you got the council and you got the utility board there, so whatever they decide.
I don't think that was ever mentioned, Mark. We never talked about that.
Let me bring it up. I can bring it up. I can bring it up to Messmore to have it on their next agenda
Okay.
and see how they want to present that.
And then one thing that I wanted to talk about, is there any way that we could get, like when these quotes and stuff go out, it'd be nice to see these in our packet. That way that we can see what's going on within the
If it's gonna be yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's gonna be something to be brought before you, absolutely, it would definitely be in your packet.
Because my problem is we're the USB, right? Like, this board up here is the USB. We don't vote on a budget for the utilities. We've seen a budget down at the council retreat and stuff like that. Hunter has shown us a budget, but we don't go through it like we do for common council, and we're not building a budget efficiently. Those are things, and when I have constituents come to me, I want to be able to answer all of the questions that they have when those things are coming up. I think that that's a conversation that we need to have and that we should be involved in.
Well, I think, great point. I mean, I'm just, whatever direction we're going in the future, I think that would be something for either it's a new utility director for you guys to absolutely discuss with them,
Yeah.
or her. Yeah, okay. But I just, Dylan, nobody's discounting what you're bringing forward. All I do know is that the quote part of it, I don't know that any of it's been done or ordered. Like I said, the transformer could be sitting over in the lot because we own it, but
Yeah.
I don't know that to be fact either. On the boring one, my understanding was it was for the pole that was directly behind those two pieces of property. And with our project going in, we were gonna have the alley activation, the lights on the alley, which is a different part of the project, of course. But that particular pole fed the transformer. That's all I know. And Tony, the pole you're talking about back in the corner, I think there was originally a discussion about doing everything underground and removing all those poles in that alley. And I think that got nixed because of the expense of it. It's just way too expensive. But
Didn't that pole get taken out?
I'll tell you what we'll do is the next utility board meeting, it's okay if I have Eric Webster come and explain what the boring was gonna help or not, or what it was supposed to do. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Sounds like we might have, somebody needs to have a conversation with him too to compare that checklist of the other project that was brought up, see what's been done, what hasn't been,
Right.
or if any of it's been done.
Was it that pole also taken out at one time because we thought that we was gonna put the dumpsters over there? When that was all being talked about?
No, that's back in the corner, I think Tony's talking about, back on the corner of the intersection of the
Oh, okay, yeah.
alleys.
There was
This is,
another one I
this
thought
is the pole that was right behind the white building and right on the property line of Tom's and the white building.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And going forward, Dylan, I think to address your concerns, especially on the utility side of things, I think it's pretty well, it should be pretty well known that utilities can't pay for projects.
Yeah.
Okay, if the city wants to help contribute, then they have to come and ask your guys' a request to you guys, but if utilities just can't do it.
Well, and that's one thing that I appreciated about Billy is when he was here, I always heard him say, if you're going to do it for one, you have to do it for all.
Right.
And that was one thing that was nice about having a utility director is they wouldn't let us deviate from that.
Yeah, well, and going back to what Eric Webster said about the transformer, everybody's always had to pay for their transformer. So Eric remembers it as well. So, all right. What else? What else can we talk about?
I don't have anything else besides that.
Is that satisfactory? Because I
Yeah, we'll
want to
figure
make
it.
sure that we'll get the answers.
yeah, we'll get the answers and figure out
All right.
where it gets paid from.
Well, I do know too, me being on redevelopment, I mean, we really didn't know, we had an idea what was going on here. But if I was more informed of what you guys wanted to ask, I'd have had this found out for you. I'd have known today to tell you. Like with redevelopment, if we was the one paying for that, some of this stuff, but I don't know what to ask if I'm not told what's going on here. So that's another part of it. I mean, we'd have some answers for you anyway. But I don't remember how that worked out either.
Okay. All right. Anybody on the phone got anything else? Mark, you got anything else?
No.
Are you learning?
I'm just sitting and listening now.
Are you learning?
He hang up.
Are you learning anything?
Mark, you better ask Mark if he's in a bed sleeping.
No, he's been at meetings all day. Okay, if no other subjects, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Where's Fetty?
I'll try to get
Where's he?
there tomorrow before I leave town on Wednesday. And maybe we could